Today, the FBI successfully seized criminal proceeds from a Bitcoin wallet that DarkSide ransomware actors used to collect a cyber ransom payment from a victim.
Meantime, we're going to continue this conversation because Bitcoin bouncing back this morning. This after El Salvador approved the digital currency for use as a legal tender. Comes a day after the price of Bitcoin plunged on fears of a crypto crackdown by the IRS and that seizure of parts of the ransom paid to hackers by Colonial Pipeline.
First of all, though, assuage a concern I've got about this El Salvador stuff. Just at the end of last week, El Salvador pulled out of an anti-corruption accord with the Organization of American States. And the U.S. is concerned that this is going to be a problem for efforts to root out graft there. Is there any way that corrupt politicians, others in El Salvador, could get in between these transactions, converting Bitcoin into dollars or other currencies, and cause a graft or corruption problem related to crypto down the road?
Since last year, we've been pursuing an investigation into DarkSide, a Russia-based cybercrime group. The DarkSide ransomware variant is one of more than 100 ransomware variants that the FBI is currently investigating. DarkSide developers market their ransomware to criminal affiliates who then conduct attacks and share a percentage of the proceeds with the developers.
We've seen sort of a wild move in Bitcoin, and I'm curious what your take is, both on what we just heard about what's happening in China, but also what we're hearing about what's happening in El Salvador. Is that a credentializing mechanism, or is that something that says, okay, hold on here?
A scheme known as ransomware as a service. In this case, the FBI has identified more than 90 victims across multiple U.S. critical infrastructure sectors. Those include manufacturing, legal, insurance, healthcare, and energy. Based on our investigation into DarkSide and incredible work with other U.S. government partners, we identified a virtual currency wallet that the DarkSide actors used to collect a payment from a victim.
Listen, Bitcoin holds properties that are very important. It's censorship resistant, and it's an open monetary network. And so there are no intermediaries, and El Salvador embraces that. They will be coming out with a government wallet that is supportive and is encouraged to be used, but not required. And anyone that is interoperable with the open monetary network can use it. And so to answer your question, no. And my focus is embracing the properties that is Bitcoin and what makes it the most powerful monetary network on the planet, and helping El Salvador build the most inclusive financial infrastructure any country has ever seen in human history.
Using law enforcement authorities, victim funds were seized from that wallet, preventing DarkSide actors from using them. This is just the latest disruption that the FBI and DOJ have taken to impose risk and consequences on cyber adversaries. Since announcing our new cyber strategy last year, we have dismantled the infrastructure of the Emotet criminal botnet through an unprecedented coalition of U.S. and international law enforcement and private industry partners.
Yeah, I mean, it's certainly been a very exciting week. I just came back from Miami where this announcement was first made about El Salvador making Bitcoin legal tender. We now have our first country that's really embracing this in this way. They're going to be the first of many. Jerome Powell, the chairman of the Fed, in March of this year, stated that Bitcoin is more of a substitute for gold than the dollar. So what does that mean? Well, central banks around the world are holding the dollar as a reserve asset, and they're also holding gold as a reserve asset. And then the next logical step is we will see central banks substituting gold for Bitcoin for gold. So the question you should be asking, who's going to be the first central bank to do that? And eventually all these dominoes are going to fall, and what we're going to see is Bitcoin becoming a reserve asset.
Additionally, we have joined other government partners to expose a cyber tool developed by the Russian GRU. We have also used legal authorities to remove malicious backdoors installed on the networks of Microsoft Exchange Server customers across the United States. And just last week, DOJ announced the seizure of 2 command and control domains used by the perpetrators of a wide spear phishing campaign. This focus on joint action and collaboration is exemplified by the National Cyber Investigative Joint Task Force, which brings together intelligence community, law enforcement, and cybersecurity agencies for a whole-of-government approach against these cyber threats.
And so your understanding of this government wallet is that the forces in the government won't be able to reach into it and take things out in a way that's not traceable?
No, listen, if you custody assets with any custodian, you are at the beholden of that custodian, whether that's Coinbase, whether that's a government, whether that's Chase Bank, whether that's Fidelity. The power of Bitcoin is you can custody your own assets and you can remain interoperable with the network yourself if you want, and El Salvador embraces that. Of course, the government needs to be interoperable with the monetary network that they're supportive of, and we're going to help them with that. But anyone can do whatever they want, and that's a huge property and power of Bitcoin and why this is such a huge moment for humanity.
Our partners in the intelligence community and across government are central to these efforts. Leveraging each of our authorities and capabilities enables us to conduct coordinated operations to respond to and deter malicious activity from groups like DarkSide.
Okay. Now, Jack, let's talk about Strike for a moment. You operate on the Lightning Network. You were part of what allowed the NFL's Russell Okung to take his salary in Bitcoin. Why is this an important moment, and where do you hope this goes next?
Yeah, so at Strike, we think that the Bitcoin network and Bitcoin asset, it's the most powerful monetary network of all time and the most impressive asset in human history. And so we, as a company, have a mission to secure financial freedom for all. And we do that by making this monetary network easily accessible and usable to everyone on the planet. And so that's our mission. And whether you're an NFL player, whether you're a rap artist, whether you're a barista, whether you sell pupusas, whether you're the president of a country, I am here. I will die on this hill, and I'm very supportive of what Bitcoin stands for and moving it forward.
Hey, Jack, you know, people who are watching the evolution of Bitcoin or crypto in general as a payment mechanism ask, okay, how are you going to order a pizza when you don't know whether or not the payment is going to have a drop of 30% in value before the pizza gets to your door? Is El Salvador going to explain? Is going to be a decent case study to explain how that gets smoothed out?
First of all, by the way, I'm not sure I agree with you. And obviously, you're in this business. You have a lot of Bitcoin. You represent the crypto world. So let's just make sure everybody understands, what side everybody's on here. But does it ever become an actual currency? Because as far as I can tell right now, in terms of transactions, and when I say transactions, I do not mean just trading of Bitcoin. It seems to be used, unfortunately, more for ransomware than anything else.
Yeah, so here's the deal. It's not mandated that you hold Bitcoin. There's security concerns, there's how you're gonna custody it, there's exposure to volatility as it's traded in a free market environment. What the government is encouraging is interoperability with the open monetary network. And so what we've done at Strike, and this is a product that exists today and it's widely used and very popular, is we allow dollars, like a traditional US bank account, to be interoperable with this open monetary network. And so you can send and make Bitcoin payments with dollars and receive Bitcoin payments as dollars. And so you're not exposed to tax consequences, volatility, security risks. You don't have to be a cryptographer to do that. I do that for you. And so the government is going to take advantage of this infrastructure we've built, and all of those problems are solved.
Bitcoin is becoming a substitute for gold, not for the dollar. So we're talking about the base of the monetary layer, a store of value. When it comes to a store of value, Bitcoin is really prevailing as the winner there and has solidified its role, and that's what's happening in the international.
How is it a store of value if it was worth $64,000 a month ago and is now worth half?
Yeah, you got to understand this technology is literally 12 years old. It's very nascent. As adoption increases, that volatility is going to level out. And if you look at the volatility indexes, they are decreasing over time. We believe we're anywhere between 20 to 25% of households own some form of cryptocurrency today. Once we get to 80, 90% adoption, you won't see that volatility. So yes, in the short run, you do have these big swings, but it won't be like that in the long run.